A Houthi drone pierces Israel's skies, slamming into Ramon airport. No sirens, no warning. Panic spreads, glass shatters, smoke billows. In Gaza, Israel flattens towers and blasts Hamas tunnels. From Yemen's skies to Gaza's streets, Israel fights on two fronts and the war widens. A drone launched by Yemen's Houthi rebels struck Ramon airport in southern Israel on September 7th, evading air defences and smashing into the terminal. Israeli authorities confirmed they are investigating how the explosive-laden aircraft managed to slip past detection systems. The attack left a 63-year-old man lightly injured by shrapnel. Magen David Adams said the man, along with a woman who fell while fleeing the scene, was taken to Yoseftel Medical Center in Eilat. Several others required treatment for acute anxiety. The unmanned aerial vehicle hit the passenger terminal at the airport north of Eilat, causing visible damage. Images from the scene showed shattered glass, debris in baggage screening areas, and a plume of black smoke rising above the terminal. Notably, no air raid sirens were activated. A preliminary Israeli Air Force probe found the drone was not detected before impact, preventing alarms from sounding.
The IAF intercepted 3 UAVs launched from Yemen, 2 of which were intercepted prior to crossing into Israeli territory. Sirens were sounded in southern Israel.
In the immediate aftermath, Israeli authorities briefly closed the airspace above Ramon Airport. Several hours later, the IAA announced the airport had resumed normal operations following security assessments and inspections.
Following the completion of all safety and security checks, compliance with international civil aviation standards, and receipt of final approval from the Air Force, Ramon Airport has now been reopened for full operations for both departures and arrivals.
The drone strike coincided with disruptions to undersea internet cables in the Red Sea, which experts said had degraded connectivity across parts of Asia and the Middle East. Microsoft issued a notice on September 7th, warning that the Middle East may experience increased latency due to undersea fiber cuts in the Red Sea, while stressing that traffic routed outside the region was unaffected. NetBlocks, a watchdog monitoring internet access, reported a series of subsea cable outages in the Red Sea affecting countries including India and Pakistan. It cited failures involving the SMW4 and IMEI cable systems near Saudi Arabia's Jeddah. Tata Communications, which operates the Southeast Asia Middle East Western Europe 4 cable, and Alcatel-Lucent, which oversees the IMEI line, have not yet commented. Pakistan's state-owned PTCL confirmed the cuts in a Saturday statement. Saudi Arabia has not publicly acknowledged the incident. In the United Arab Emirates, users of the Du and Etisalat networks complained of slower speeds, though authorities have yet to issue a response. While subsea cables can be accidentally damaged by ship anchors, there are concerns they may also be deliberately targeted. Repairs, experts warn, often take weeks. The Houthis, who have attacked shipping in the Red Sea as part of their campaign against Israel, have previously denied involvement in cable incident. As tensions escalated, the Israeli Air Force bombed a high-rise building in Gaza City. The IDF said the Al Ruya Tower was used by Hamas for intelligence gathering and observation of troop movements. According to the Israeli military, Hamas operatives also planted multiple explosive devices near the building as part of its defense preparations. The IDF stated that residents had been given 2 evacuation warnings before the strike. In a separate operation, Israeli forces destroyed a Hamas tunnel in Gaza City's Zaytun neighborhood. The tunnel, spanning hundreds of meters, was uncovered by the Nahal Brigade. The IDF said the underground passage featured a room used by Hamas to coordinate attacks in the area. A video of the demolition was released by the military. The strikes come amid intensified fighting in Gaza City, where Israeli ground forces continue their push against entrenched Hamas positions. As military operations continued, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed growing international criticism of the war in Gaza at the start of the weekly cabinet meeting in Jerusalem on September 7th.
If I need to choose between victory over our enemies and negative propaganda against us, I choose victory over our enemies rather than the opposite. I don't want articles when we are defeated by our enemies, but get positive eulogy articles in the world media. I choose victory.
Despite his call, officials confirmed that a planned discussion on a new public diplomacy unit intended to counter anti-Israel narratives was postponed until next week. The unit is expected to operate under the Foreign Ministry, but disagreements have emerged between Netanyahu and Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar over its role. Netanyahu added that victory in Gaza remains his overriding priority.
We are destroying terror infrastructures. We are destroying incriminated terror towers, and we have set up another humanitarian area to allow the civilian population in Gaza to leave for a safe place and receive humanitarian aid there. About 100,000 people have left Gaza so far. Hamas is trying to do everything so they won't leave, so they would stay there and act as a human shield for it.
Meanwhile, Sa'ar used a press conference in Jerusalem with Danish Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen to issue a stark warning about Western countries' plans to unilaterally recognize a Palestinian state at the UN General Assembly later this month.
As you know, there is also a huge opposition in the Israeli public today for a Palestinian state. It's understood. Today, to establish a Palestinian state will jeopardize our security. Why we opposed it, and I said it very clearly, but it's legitimate to have a different opinion like the EU has traditionally, but eventually this issue should be agreed by the parties themselves. And the only thing I see that this move is bringing, this move that President Macron had initiated, is instability and the push for every player to do unilateral steps. It's not bringing not peace, not security, not stability. So what for?
Sa'ar argued that Palestinian statehood must remain part of final status negotiations between Israelis and Palestinians, not imposed unilaterally. He also denounced what he described as Europe's anti-Israeli obsession wave, but urged dialogue with European partners. When pressed, Sa'ar declined to specify what reciprocal measures Israel might take if countries go ahead with recognition.